Hey fam, welcome back. My name is Carly Jones, and I'm an employment attorney at the Manifest Justice Law Corporation. All right, today we are going to tackle something that might hurt some feelings, but it's really important. Okay, we're going to talk about the difference between what an attorney does and what a client is responsible for doing. A lot of attorneys skip over explaining this step, and that can leave, in my experience, some clients really feeling frustrated and we don't do a good job at this part. And like I'm speaking from my experience when I was a client and not from my experience as a lawyer. But the expectation, which so commonly is misunderstood, is that the attorney does all of the investigating. And the attorney does do a lot of investigation, but the client is responsible for bringing a lot of the evidence to the attorney. So, especially in employment litigation, the plaintiff has a lot of access to information and has a lot of capabilities to be gathering documentation in preparation for a lawsuit. And so, again, an attorney if you listen to some of my previous videos, I've done a video, or it will at least be coming out soon, like literally earlier today, I just recorded a video about the different stages of a lawsuit. And so if you listen to that, you'll better understand in the discovery process, the lawyer will do investigating. And like throughout the litigation process, there's going to be investigating happening. There's going to be questioning. There's going to be information gathering. There's going to be demands for information. There's going to be subpoenas. Like there's going to be a bunch of things that the attorney will do. But just to get an attorney, just to retain an attorney and have an attorney want to take your case on and to be able to hire an attorney, you have to provide some kind of documentation. In an employment context, you've got to provide like proof of employment. So some kind of like pay stubs, employment contracts, role offer, like something. You've got to prove that you've worked for the people who you're saying and that you are making what you say you were making. And then you've also got to prove like something about your claims. And, we don't expect the red smoking gun, but text message, a screenshot, an email, a Zoom chat, a Slack message, anything, anything that can help us see that, like, yes, what you're saying is real. So you're going to have a very difficult time finding an attorney if you already don't have like basic forms of documentation to prove your employment, to prove how much you make or made at that employment, and then some form of documentation to prove the claims that you're trying to bring. So again, like emails, Slack messages, screenshots, pictures, videos, maybe even perhaps letters. Maybe it's a document that you typed up yourself, making chronology of the situation. Maybe it's a handbook policy from the company. There can be many different forms of evidence. Maybe it's badge swipe logs or call logs, or like there are so many different forms of evidence, but you've got to have some basic preliminary evidence that you're showing the attorney just in the like initial consultation phase for them to be able to substantiate your claims and see, okay, yeah, we can bring this lawsuit, like we're good. So that's already the expectation, like bare minimum. Then now once we've hired you, we're going to say, okay, like what else you got? What else you got? Like send us the whole file now. And if you're not ready for that part, it can be kind of devastating because you're like, what are you talking about? This is going to be re-traumatizing, really triggering, like super upsetting, so time consuming. I don't have the fucking capacity to do this. What are you talking? You are supposed to do this. So I'd say there's a couple things you could do. If it's very, very, very emotional or like re-traumatizing, triggering, like difficult for whatever reason to gather evidence, but you have it, you can download softwares or like applications that will help you with the like documentation process. What I mean by that is you can download softwares that, for example, you can upload your contents of your phone into this app, and then it will get all of your messages from a certain sender, or like, back and forth between you and a person or you in a group chat. It will get all of those messages and put it in a PDF or in a spreadsheet, and you can choose the format and make it just perfect for you. You can then have all of the records right there. It won't have to be that you go and screenshot specific things. And then it can be on the attorney to go through those entire text logs or call logs and extract the evidence from there. So that's a way to kind of get around it for the client so that you can give the information to the attorney that they need, but you don't have to do the hardcore work of like literally rereading and reliving all of the hard shit you've just been through. You can do the same thing with like your computer drive. You can do the same thing with like your work drive. You can gather in bulk a bunch of information and kind of dump it on the attorney And it's on the attorney then from that point and their legal team to go through, parse through all the evidence and take out what's the most relevant and the most important. Now, that comes with a caveat. Of course, that is like the technical actual rules, right? You can just dump information to the attorney as the client, and then it is the attorney's responsibility to sort through that mess and find the case within it. That being said, everyone has a fucking lot on their plate and no one has time to do anything. You know what I mean? Like we all feel pressed to have more time and we all feel pressed to like be able to get more done in our days, I'm sure of obviously with exception, but like most of us. And so if you just dump a bunch of information on your attorney blindly without any kind of like roadmap or instructions or context, the attorney's gonna be pissed. They're gonna be pissed. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? And even if they don't say that or show that to you, they're gonna be like, fuck. And their legal teams are gonna be like, fuck. And they're probably not going to do as good of a job as you, the client, with all of the context and understanding of the situation in the world. You will do better. I cannot stress enough that, like, as clients, you are the expert on your case. And the attorney should become an expert, but it's going to take them some time. They didn't live through that situation. And they also have a lot of other clients who they're trying to remember all the facts and details and like keep track of. So any ways that you can help and you can assist and you can like ollie oop and you can give them the spark notes and make it easier, that is ideal and that's helpful and that's only going to benefit you as the client more. Being in a lawsuit and having working with an attorney, it's a partnership. We are teammates in war. And so if you are not like willing to save my life and like help me out and give me the information I need and like make it easier for me, that's not a good sign in our partnership and it doesn't like instill a lot of trust in the partnership and that's going to ultimately have an impact on your relationship with your attorney. So try to provide some kind of context, some kind of like even if you're just like these are the stream messages with the asshole who was harassing me. Like you don't even have to be prim and proper or formal at all. You can be like these motherfuckers and you can just send it. But like some kind of context, like that fucking day that I told you about with that asshole and then send all the messages. Like that can be incredibly helpful. If you are able, again, get the actual screenshots and send that to us. And then if we are needing more, the attorney's needing more, we will ask for it. Or you can just do a dump. But it's really important that as much information that you can give the attorney, the best, like the better, because they'll be able to sort through and figure it out. They may use a piece of evidence that you think is completely not relevant and they think it is relevant. And it's going to be like the thing that adds extra zeros onto that settlement. So like everyone has a different perspective, everyone has a different approach, everyone's going to come up with a different strategy. Law is art and creativity in a lot of ways. There's not like a single pathway that we have to follow. It's not like if you answer A, B, and C correctly, then you get 100% and you win. That's not how law goes. It's very much short answer and it's your ability to explain and argument in between and fill in the blanks and like paint a picture wholly. So the more information that we have, the better able we'll be to do that. And also, we are very busy and doing that for multiple people. So the more that you can help us as the client, the better that's going to ultimately help you in your case. The biggest point I want to have take away is that like if your attorney is asking you to prepare evidence for them or to send them evidence, that is your job as a client. You as the client have access and have context and understanding, and we are expecting that you've built a little bit up before coming here. And again, you probably are not going to have an easy time finding an attorney if you walk in and say you have zero evidence of the claims that you're making. Again, I know I speak from the perspective of when I was a client, like thought I had no evidence, but also what constitutes as evidence is very broad. Your testimony, you speaking in court, for example, you telling your story, that's a form of evidence. That can't be the only evidence, but that is a form of evidence and a very powerful form of evidence as well. So yeah, I'm digressing a little bit and I could make a different video talking about the different types of evidence and how to gather evidence. I think that would probably actually be really helpful. So I will do that. But as far as like who does what and what is the client's responsibility, the attorney is responsible for reading everything you give them, everything. And I mean everything, like even the shit that's like not relevant at all. If you send it to your attorneys, they have a responsibility to read it. And if they don't, like, that's grounds for being fired. That's grounds for even potentially, depending on the circumstances, like professional conduct consequences to come out. Like, that's huge. We must read what you give us in its entirety. The client also, like, needs to give us some shit to read. And again, the attorney will seek more information. They will ask for the messages that you've been blocked out of the email from gathering. They will get the documents that the employer tried to delete. We will do that as well, but we need to have something to work with in the beginning. And that thing that we're working with in the beginning, that's the teamwork part, and that's where the client steps in and can be so helpful in dishing it out. So also, like, if you want to put together timelines, again, we might, as an attorney, we might have a different set of timelines. We might expand it or shorten it or open it up or we might have different perspectives, but timelines, documentation, witness lists, these are things that are just like, that's incredibly helpful. And it's really important that the client delivers that. It has a huge impact on your case and like the quickness and timeline with which we can like resolve and get you paid for your case. So hopefully I didn't piss too many people off. Hopefully you see the sense through the madness. If not, leave a comment. Let me know, what were your questions? What were your pain points? I will make another video and we can talk it through. Hopefully this was good for you. Hopefully you found this informative. Hopefully you feel empowered. And hopefully this information does help you at the end of the day get paid, because that's what I want. If you found this video helpful and you liked it, please feel free to give me a like, a share, leave me a comment, give me a shout out. Ruffle my feathers. I'd appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Okay, everybody works, but not everybody is safe at work. And I want to make sure that y'all know the difference. Take care. Bye, y'all.